Well, hello, it's an honor to be here at CARA Cosmetics. My name is Jan, and I'm here today to talk about my cancer story. Anyone who's had cancer or been with somebody who's had cancer knows it's a very difficult story, and I'm an emotional person, so it's sobbing. I'll get over this, don't worry. So anyway, I was diagnosed with cancer initially 5 years ago in the spring, the end of May 2008. And my initial diagnosis came because I found a lump in my breast. I hoped it would be a very minor blip on the radar screen, but somehow I just knew as soon as I felt it, as soon as I touched it, my fingers somehow knew that it was going to be a little more substantial. And as it turned out, I had 2 masses in my left breast, and they were 2 different kinds of cancer. I also had atypical cells. So what I ended up doing was having a double mastectomy, and pathology also showed I had atypical cells on the right. So I've never second-guessed that decision, but it definitely validated that I made the right decision not to wait around and see if the right breast would develop cancer as well. After the mastectomy, I chose reconstruction with implants, and they insert the expanders at the time of surgery. And I had another little speed bump in that my gallbladder blew up 3 weeks after my mastectomy. So I had to have emergency gallbladder surgery too. Anyway, I started chemo in October, and it's what I like to call the bad chemo, which I did 6 rounds of every 3 weeks, and then I did a full year of Herceptin. Now my sentinel nodes were negative. I did the Herceptin as a preventive, and I also was on tamoxifen. So I thought we had a very good, very aggressive plan, and that cancer was going to be in my rearview mirror forever. So this past spring, when it popped up again, I was very devastated. It showed up in my lymph nodes, my lungs, my liver, and my bones. And it came up very quickly. And some of this I attribute to stress, because my husband died of brain cancer last September. So that was quite a long journey as well. So I think there was stress in my life that perhaps made me more vulnerable. And then also there's probably just something in me that makes me more susceptible to cancer, probably something in my DNA, because again, we did have a very good plan, and it should have worked by all accounts. But when this popped up, it came up very quickly. I knew something was very wrong, and between March 3rd, when I first I took a fall, and then I discovered a lump up in my lymph node up here. Between March 3rd and March 27th, when I had my first chemo, I had scans and biopsies, and things happened very quickly. So I did 6 rounds of adriamycin and Cytoxan so far, and that's on an every 2-week schedule. And now I'm taking Taxol, and I have responded well. My PET scans have improved, and so that's a big win for me. And the Taxol is hard to tolerate. The adriamycin and Cytoxan are extremely hard to tolerate. Anyone who's ever taken them can vouch for that. And you can only have so much of it. So I finished pretty much my max dose of that by having 6 cycles. So now I'm on to something new. So far I'm not tolerating it terrific, so we're going to have to tweak it. But this is going to be something that I have to do for the rest of my life in one fashion or another, because what I have is not curable at this time. So, to all you people out there researching, work harder and faster and smarter, find something. But in the meantime, we just go with what we know.
First off, when you have a cancer patient, a lot of times there is a lot of changes that happen with the skin. So the skin becomes very dry. Oftentimes it starts to develop a more sallow type of pallor to it. And using something that's going to be just a nice moisturizing. This is an antioxidant moisturizer, and so it's really going to help protect the skin and add some hydration, but without being, anything that's going to be occlusive or heavy. And that's really going to give the skin some nutrients, because obviously between the chemo and the radiation, it just literally just takes everything out of you. The next step that I'm going to do on her face is going to give her some luminosity to the skin, because what happens is that now not only has Jan lost her brows and obviously her hair, and funny enough, one of the things about Jan is when you came in, I never knew what you looked like before. So you were asking me about doing your eyebrows. And the color that you were using before was really dark, what you showed me. And so not having seen you before, and Jan, you had pretty dark brown hair before, right? Or like a medium to dark brown hair. But Jan has a really neutral skin tone with blue eyes. And so now the way that I see her, I almost see her more with a blonde kind of look versus a really dark, dark brown hair. So obviously I didn't want to give her these really dark brown eyebrows. And so what I want to do with Jan is give her a little bit of, it's called Atlantis Skin Shimmer. And it's just this beautiful little shimmer that's going to give your skin some translucency and just kind of, brighten it up. We're going to brighten you up. So all I do is I just grab a little bit of that. I like to use the side of my hand as a palette. And with a brush, I'm going to bring that onto the top of the cheekbones. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to use satin-based foundation, which is a liquid foundation, and I'm going to apply it with this little kabuki brush. So the nice thing about using this kabuki is that it's going to give her almost like an airbrush finish. You don't need to use much product at all. The next step that we're going to do is concealer. So we're going to take the concealer with a concealer brush, and I'm going to apply that around the eye area and just brighten up around the eye. It's important to use very little product, and also to just take that concealer, and with the brush it helps to blend it in, because without using brushes oftentimes it can be difficult to blend it out, especially if the skin's a little bit drier. And you can also, we have a great product too, it's called Perfect Moisture Serum, and I'll show you that one in a second. And that's a great little spot hydrator. Also, as you can see, Jan doesn't have any lashes, so she's lost her lashes and she's got a couple little eyebrows left. So we're going to have to show you how to make her look like she's got liner and an eyelash line. This is Perfect Moisture Serum, which is a clear liquid, and I was mentioning this. This is a perfect product to use. You can just put a little squirt of that if you have any little areas that may need like a little bit of extra hydration. The next step that we're going to do is our new high definition powder. And it's not just for on camera, but you can see just this white consistency. It is a phenomenal powder. All you need is just a little tiny bit, and it has a really silky texture to it. And it really delivers a no color. But what it's going to do is it's going to just set that foundation in. And it really gives such a nice feel to the skin too. Jan has really nice skin, so all we're doing is just giving her a little bit of evening it out and just setting. So it just is oil absorbing, shine absorbing. Malta is going to be the color that I'm going to add into the eye area, and there. So it's kind of like a really neutral type of tone, and I'm going to bring that right along above the crease. Jan's eyes are fairly deep set already, so I just want to add some softness and give her a little bit of dimension. Alright, so we brought the Malta into the crease area. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of Persia and Dauphine to give her a little bit of brightness along the lid. So these two right here. I'm doing this with just a regular eyeshadow brush, number 5. Just a nice little blendy brush. The next step, what I'm going to do to create the liner, since there are no lashes, is I'm going to use our Galaxy gel liner. And this is a little tiny angle brush. And the reason why I use it with a little spatula, not that you have to do that at home, but we do that just for purposes of cross-contamination. You're going to create a liner right along the lash line, because when you don't have any lashes, a liner is going to have a harder time to stick onto the skin. So that's why the gel liner is great, because Jan can go out and party and she'll look good all night long. The next step I'm going to do is use Havana on the lower lash line. So now that we have the gel liner, I'm going to do something a little bit softer on the bottom with Havana. And this is just a dry liner. So the next step that I'm going to do before I finish up with the eyes is I'm going to start off with the eyebrows. And I'm using a blonde pencil, and I'm just making little small strokes. You don't want a real dark, severe eyebrow. So just little by little, I'm going to do a combination of pencil and some shadow, because if you just use pencil it can look a little severe, but if you just use shadow it doesn't really have any hair to adhere to, so really the pencil kind of gives it that staying power. So now what I'm going to do a little bit of Malta right over the eyebrow color. And that's going to set the pencil in. I'm going to go in with a little bit of Bordeaux, and I'm going to take that, and now I'm going to deepen up that outer corner of the eye. Give her a little bit more drop. And I'm using a crease blender brush. Pointy brush just to get more detail. The next step is going to be adding some Malibu right onto the cheek, so exactly where you're smiling. I'm going to start right there and take that back so it's right underneath where that Atlantis skin shimmer went. So it kind of gives you a little highlight right there and then some color. Okay, for the last step, I'm going to do a little bit, this is called Skin Shimmer Powder. And it has just a little, it's like the one that we added before in the cream texture. But this one you can just kind of give a little bit of brightness to the skin. And it's fun. And you can also mix it. Put it on the body if you want to. Wherever you want a little bit of highlight, a little bit of bling for you. The next step is going to be Princess lipstick on you. So I'm going to do, this is a nice moisturizing lipstick because your lips also are going to get really dry. So we're going to go ahead and put some of that on. And sometimes if the lips are real dry, what I'll do is I'll just line them afterwards just to give her a little bit more definition to the lip line. Now I'm going to just take our Cameo lip pencil, which is a nice neutral color, and just glide that along the edge of the lip line. The last thing that we're going to do is give you a little bit of lip gloss, and of course this is called Leslie lip gloss because
Well, I'd have to say beauty is very personal. It's like cancer itself. It's personal and it means something different to everyone. For me, my view of beauty has obviously changed over these last several years because I've been altered physically and I've changed spiritually. I think I do feel beautiful because I feel like I'm honest. I try to live my life in an honest fashion and to be kind to other people. You don't ever know what anyone's journey is. But it's true, you feel very plain. You know, when your eyebrows are gone and your eyelashes are gone and maybe your skin's not looking as good as it did and you lose some of your physical, you know, like your muscle definition goes away and you lose your butt or whatever, you know, things like that are all a part of the beautiful picture. You do kind of lose a bit of confidence. So when you have a moment like this, you know, an extraordinary afternoon where people take good care of you and they, you know, they see something in you
that they want to bring out and enhance, and then you look in the mirror and you're like, wow, you know, I didn't know I could look like that. And you really do feel awesome. I mean, it just takes you to a new level. It makes your spirit a lot lighter, and your smile a little brighter, and you know, just ready to kind of take on the world and have another day. It's a day-to-day thing with when you have any kind of disease, any chronic illness, whether it's yours or a family member's. But if you can take that moment to pamper yourself or have someone pamper you, then it really does make you feel like you have a little extra something in your arsenal to fight with.